Welcome back to my channel.
In this video, we will discuss calculation-based topics used in radiotherapy, such as equivalent square field, Maynard F factor, relationship between hinge angle and wedge angle, inverse square law, formula to calculate shielding material thickness used for treatment, biological equivalent dose. Equivalent square field. In radiotherapy, when irregular or non-square radiation fields are used, the equivalent square field, ESF, concept is applied to simplify dose calculations, for example, tissue phantom ratio, percentage depth dose, etc. Definition. An equivalent square field is the size of a square field that delivers the same percentage depth dose or scatter conditions as the actual rectangular or irregular field. To calculate ESF, we use area by perimeter formula. Area by perimeter of square equals to area by perimeter of rectangle. Area of square will be x square, perimeter will be 4 times of x, while area of rectangle is a into b by perimeter will be 2 times of a plus b. Final result will be equals to 2 a b by a plus b. We have also another formula for ESF, that is ESF equals to 4 times of area divided by perimeter, also known as Stirling's formula. Few MCQs regarding this topic.
For a treatment field of 12 centimeters into 18 centimeters, what is the approximate equivalent square field size?
Calculation.
Area is equal to 12 into 18, equals 216.
Perimeter equals to into 12 plus 18 equals 60.
Equivalent square equals 4 into 216, divided by 60 equals 14.4. Which of the following fields has an equivalent square closest to 10 centimeters? Let's discuss Maynard F factor. The Maynard F factor is a correction factor used in radiotherapy to adjust the output dose when the source-to-surface distance, SSD, is changed, especially when using percent depth dose, PDD, values. Why it is needed. PDD depends on SSD. When SSD increases, the PDD also increases. However, PDD data are usually available only for a standard SSD, like 100 centimeters. Formula to calculate F factor is in this formula, F is Maynard F factor, SSD1 is original SSD, SSD2 is new SSD, D max is depth of dose maximum and D is dose of point of interest. Also, the formula to calculate new PDD is. It can be shown that the F factor is greater than 1 for SSD2, is more than SSD1, and less than 1 for SSD2, less than SSD1, for all depths D more than D max. Thus, it may be restated PDD increases with increase in SSD. Few MCQs related to this topic. A depth dose measurement is taken at a depth of 5 centimeters with an SSD of 100 centimeters. What is the Maynard F factor to estimate PDD at 120 centimeters SSD?
You can pause the video and calculate.
If the PDD at 5 centimeters depth for 100 centimeters SSD is 85%, calculate the PDD at the same depth for 120 centimeters SSD using Maynard F factor.
You can pause the video and calculate.
In a wedge pair technique, there is an optimum relationship between wedge angle and the hinge angle. The above equation does not account for surface irregularity. Relationship between wedge angle theta and the hinge angle phi. Inverse square law ISL. Definition. The inverse square law states that the intensity of radiation is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the source. Mathematically, intensity is directly proportional to 1 by d square, or can be given by the formula to calculate different intensity at different distance. Few MCQs related to this topic. If distance is doubled, intensity becomes which factor limits the application of ISL in tissue dose calculation. Important data related to shielding required for photon and electron beam. For photon beam, primary transmission of 5% through the block is considered acceptable for most clinical situations. If n is the number of half-value layers to achieve this transmission, is calculated by the formula. So thickness of lead greater than 4.32 half-value layers would give less than 5% primary beam transmission. Few values of lead thickness required for different energy to provide less than 5% transmission. For electron, minimum thickness of lead required for 5% transmission of dose is approx E by 2 mm of lead. Biological equivalent dose, BED. Biological equivalent dose is a concept used in radiotherapy to compare different radiation dose fractionation schedules by estimating the biological effect of the total dose delivered. Formula for calculating equivalent dose. N is number of fraction. D is dose per fraction. The quantities alpha and beta represent the linear and quadratic components of the cell's survival curve. Let's understand this using example. Compare the BED for SBRT fractionation schemes. 5 fractions of 12 gray and 3 fractions of 20 gray. For early reacting tissues, we use alpha by beta ratio value 10. Scheme 3 fractions of 20 gray will have more biological effect, even if the total dose is same. Now try to solve few MCQs related to the topic we have discussed. A field has an area of 150 centimeters square and a perimeter of 50 centimeters. What is the equivalent square field size? Inverse square law is valid under which of the following conditions? Which of the following is not a limitation of BED? Which of the following affects the accuracy of ISL in LINAC treatments? The PDD for a 15 into 15 centimeters square field size, 10 centimeters depth, and 80 centimeters SSD is 58.4 co-60 beam. Find the PDD for the same field size and depth for a 100 centimeters SSD. Equivalent square field is important in radiotherapy because Increasing SSD from 100 centimeters to 140 centimeters will cause the Maynard F factor to In late-responding tissues like spinal cord, a typical alpha by beta ratio is approximately
What is the unit of equivalent square field size? In a LINAC, a patient is treated at 100 cm SSD. What happens to the dose at a point if the SSD is increased to 120 cm without changing MU?
I hope you liked this video. Comment your views and also any important points that I have missed. Please subscribe, share, and like.